So I'm here at the Evolution Loft, just outside of Auckland, New Zealand, and getting a little bit of a tour here with Rodney, the owner, and Marty, the Sailmaker. And just behind me here, you can see this is the new Ojigwan jib. Pretty unique experience for us to know the Sailmaker and get to come over here and get them to lay it out for us and get to see where it was made. So here's the new jib. It's a lot better looking than that old Dacron one we had. So Marty, can you tell me a little bit about the materials and the design and what was done here versus what was off-site for this particular sail?
The membrane itself comes from another factory we've got just down the road, and then all the assembly and finishing is done in this building. So the design itself, it's all a custom. Basically every sail we make is custom designed, because no two are the same. They have this has got thread passes running through it, all out of carbon, and there's a little bit of Technoran as well, for a bit more durability, and then it's all laminated down the road and assembled here.
Right. Right, and this would be probably one of the smallest sails that this loft would have made. Well, I'm glad I could be on that end of this is about the only one I could afford that comes out of this loft.
How are you?
Good.
Right on.
There's your triangle.
Yeah. And this is Rodney, the owner of Evolution, who's nice enough to get me a spot on the delivery of CQS. He's done all the sales for that program, many more.
Am I ringing?
He's probably ringing for some other sales.
Oh, it's the boss. It's the boss.
Hi, I'm Martyn Baker. I'm the production manager at Evolution Sales in Auckland. This is our loft. This is what all our sails used to be cut on. Now it's only really spinnakers and the odd Dacron sail, really, cruising sail sort of thing.
Do you do many Dacron sales?
We don't do a great deal of them. As the membrane side of things is getting more ramped up, that's kind of what we push people towards a bit more. Because you do end up with a better product, and there's not actually that much more labour involved in it.
Right. Right. So the cost comes more in the materials, less on the labour end. But you get a much more durable, high-performing product.
Yeah. The membranes certainly they hold their shape a lot longer, and I think now with the skins we're using, they last a lot longer as well.
Mm-hmm. And the tough skin is a Dimension Polyant product.
Yeah,
is that right?
Skin, yeah.
The light skin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. And they seem really durable, and they look pretty.
Yeah.
They look pretty cool too.
Yeah, I mean it looks the part.
Yeah. And I've seen them in gray, black, and then kind of the dark blue for CQS.
Yep.
Are there other color options available?
We've got a guy that's just ordered a set of green sails.
Oh wow!
So
you could customize to the owner's design. Okay.
The light skin to suit whatever
That's
you
awesome.
want. There's white as well.
Yeah.
So
and that
the super yachts and things that want a nice white sail.
Yeah.
That's
right.
what we.
And for is that what you're seeing as kind of the top end product coming out of this loft now for the high performance boats, race boats, or super yachts?
Yep.
That's
the light skin.
Yeah.
Special happens in here.
Right. So you've got different grades, lengths, thicknesses of batten stock.
Yep. We have both e-glass and carbon fibre.
Okay.
Depending on what people are after.
Right.
These are the CQS sales?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we just started today checking them all over, just to make sure there was no damage during the race with the delivery.
Overall, how were you all? How do you feel the sails performed in the race? Were you pretty happy? Was the skipper and owner happy as well?
Yep, they were happy. There was nothing broke, which was good. There's a bit of chafe on things that we have to deal with, and that's about it. Just where sheets and furling lines have been rubbing on things.
Yeah.
But no, apart from that, everything's good.
Yeah. The main thing now would be making a few more.
Yeah, we've got a few more to build. Jib like that's probably about 60 man hours.
That's not as much as you'd think.
No.
No, I mean, there's not really that much to them. Whereas previously when sails were panelled, you had to join every piece back together. So your roll of fabric got cut up into 100 bits and you had to join them all back together, whereas now the membrane arrives and it's 6 panels. So you've got 5 seams to join together and it's in one piece.
Right.
So from that side of it, it's a lot quicker.
And so you all do the design and sort of the computer modeling of the sails. You send that over to the folks that build the membranes to the pattern and specs that you've given them. Then when it comes back, you do final assembly and any kind of personal touches, finishing. Okay. Awesome. And so a lot of that would have changed, that so much of the design is done ahead of time with a computer system.
Yeah.
Is it a proprietary type tool, or are there industry standard tools that a lot of people would use?
We're using software from a company called BSG, and I think they've provided software to just about every sailmaker in the world. There's a few different sail design packages, but I think most of them every loft owns, and they pick and choose which one they use for the different things.
Right.
The BSG is it's a pretty good package.
Right.
So yeah, Dario's got all the design software, and we're now running the FSI software, which you can look at the flying shapes of sails and the stress and everything on them. So we're sort of getting into that a lot more now.
Right. And I think I read that at least with CQS that you all did a lot of work in the wind tunnel with the local, like Auckland Technical or Auckland University. Is that something that you do on a lot of the big programs, or was that kind of a new thing for that?
That was something we wanted to do for that boat, because of the concept of the boat. We wanted to know what sails were going to work before we built them. Most sort of more standard boats, it's quite easy to work out what's going to work and what's not.
Right.
So that one was kind of a one-off thing.
Right. Right. So there'd be a lot more R&D into the sail inventory for that boat. Yeah.
And it was because of that wind tunnel testing that we knew that the boat got wider at the back, the wings on the transom, to get the sheeting angles wider. So we could go downwind a bit, get a bit deeper.
Right. Right.
So this is where all the membranes come from.
So I thought it was a subcontractor, but this is actually just a separate facility, part of your business.
It's a separate company, so it's called EM Squared, so it's not actually Evolution Sails.
But Rodney's part of that.
Rodney owns EM Squared.
And do you mind giving us an overview of kind of what they're doing and how the process works, kind of start to finish?
Yep. So these guys receive the files, and they kind of arrange the pieces of the sail on the floor in a way that's going to, be the most efficient for stringing it. This is a mainsail for a 30-odd footer. So the first layer of skin goes down on the floor first, upside down, and then they start laying the yarns over the top of it. It's happening right now. And then the strings will follow a pattern that's based on what's the sail designers created. And then a second layer of film goes over the top, and it's all laminated together. So it's a relatively simple process, but once again quite time consuming.
Got that handy, that's the sound.
Oh, okay. So that there is this sail that they're making right now. So each one of these lines represents a one pass of the head. So you can see there's a lot of yarn goes into every sail, and it's a mixture of carbon fibre and Technora again, with the carbon being the main load bearing yarn, and the Technora is there once again for a bit of durability, and it's a little better for flex. Doesn't break down as quickly, so that's why it's in there.
And what's the membrane material that's laid down first?
This is a light skin as well.
It is, okay.
Yeah. So there's the light skin, then the yarn, and then another light skin on top.
Wow. So this here is the light skin membrane.
Yep.
What's the chemistry? What are the materials? Because it's incredibly durable, but it's obviously very thin as well. So what gives it its strength and lightweight?
It's basically a polyester that, instead of being woven or anything, it's kind of applied in a almost like a chop strand fiberglass. So there's yarn running in every direction. It's not just a one directional fabric, and that's what's making it hang in there.
Yeah. Wow. And so it goes direct from the computer design and model into this, and it's essentially a 3D printer controlled by the design.
This
it just goes on its own.
Yeah, it's basically just another plotter like we've got at the other place on a bigger scale that lays yarn instead of drawing and cutting lines.
And what would be the largest sales that you could make in this facility? I guess you could make them in segments, so
yeah, anything up to this. I think we can get a 32 metre long panel on the floor here, so anything up to a foot length of 32 metres. And then in theory you can then put joins in it if you want to as well, like vertical joins. So you're basically unlimited with how big you can go.
Right.
So we did some sales for a Baltic 140 in here late last year. So they're getting pretty big.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of lamps underneath it that heat up the laminate, melt the glues again, and then there's about 3 or 4 tons of lead on it, and the roller that sort of squashes everything together and makes sure it's all laminated and there's no air bubbles in it.
And that's just over there, right?
No, the roller's under here.
Oh.
So this is the light bank, and then the roller that squashes everything.
Right.
So I think all up the machine weighs about 6 tons, and that plus the vacuum that we use, make sure there's no excess glue or anything in there.
Wow. And that's the lead just there?
Yeah, this is just all bags of lead. There's more here.
Some ingots. Some keel ingots.
Yeah.
Wow. How long has this facility been operational? In the past, was this outsourced, or?
Yeah, we used to get all the membranes from South Africa, but we had a lot of issues with shipping and deliveries and just not being able to actually. It's now nice to be able to go down the road and see what's happening, rather than relying on them telling us what's happening.
Right. A little bit more control over quality.
Got a lot more control over both quality and the delivery of things.
Yeah.
So now we can get sales from here that have been laminated sort of 3 or 4 days ago,
right,
and start working on them, and they can continue to cure while they're getting worked on.
Right.
Whereas before we had to wait till the sales were cured before they could be freighted to us.
Right.
So we in effect have bought a lot of time as well.
Yeah. And so how long has this facility been operational?
Since late October last year.
Oh, that's awesome. It's spectacular. Thank you for giving us the tour.